How are you, Joey?
Hi, Brian. Doing well. How are
Great.
you doing?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We were actually supposed to do this a couple of weeks ago, and I had a little accident and I got hurt. So I'm glad
Yeah,
we are able to
I
make
hope,
it come.
I hope you're all healed up already.
Yes, I'm all good. So, Joey, I've already introduced you. Everyone knows now that you're a licensed marriage and family therapist, and you also known as Counseling with Joey. You're one of the newest listings that we have, and I gave that business directory. Thank you for supporting us there and helping us to promote your services and your practice. I'd love it if you could start by telling about a little bit background about yourself, your family, how it's created, etc.
But yes, I can go ahead and share a little bit about my story. So, you know, I guess where I start. I've always wanted to have a family. I didn't know how that was going to happen. Years back, I just didn't know, being a gay man, if I was even going to get married or if I was going to be able to have kids. But fortunately, I was able to find a wonderful man, a partner, my husband, and we talked about having a family. And we both come from large families, and we didn't really get to talking about what route we were going to take in terms of building our family, because we were very fortunate that I have 4 sisters, and all of my sisters had volunteered to help us build our family. And so we were very blessed, and my sisters were very willing and wonderful to offer their help in building our families. And so we started to talk about surrogacy right away. But we didn't know where to get started. We didn't know what to do exactly. And so one day I was going through a magazine and I came across an article about surrogacy, and it was regarding San Diego Fertility Center, and they had all these babies, in their picture, I guess babies that they had helped create. And so that's how I found like an opening of how do I get information about this process. And going to them, they really gave me a lot of information and kind of gave me the guidelines of where to go, who to speak to, and that's how we basically started. But we built our family by using a known donor, a family member. My sisters had donated their eggs, and we created embryos using their eggs and their gametes. We thought it would be like the best way to have a blend of both myself and my husband. And again, I can't, thank them enough for that opportunity. And so that is how we built our family. Now, when we were building our family, we were also thinking about, okay, who is going to be our gestational carrier? And I had one of my sisters also offer to be our gestational carrier. And we were very excited about that, because we thought, like, wow, I mean, what a great way to build our family and have our family be involved. And in all honesty too, like, it was helpful financially, because this is a very expensive process, as a lot of people may already know. And so we were like, just like, whew, like, this is going to be okay, because maybe we can afford this, maybe we can do this. But unfortunately, it didn't work out with my sister. And so we went off to find another surrogate that was recommended to us by one of our great friends who also did surrogacy. And we fell in love with this person. She was amazing. She was in California, and we were in California. So we really were like, excited about that. But it also didn't work out. Not everybody responds to the medication for embryo transfer. And, we tried to transfer an embryo 3 times, and it wasn't happening. So at that point, our doctor had recommended that we search for a new surrogate. And that was hard, and it was challenging and frustrating. But we managed to find a new surrogate who was lovely. Fell in love with her as well. And she was the person who helped us not once, but twice. She was our gestational carrier, and she carried both of our daughters. So again, just kind of going back to the beginning, we always knew we wanted to have a family. We didn't know how. It just came to us, and we decided we were going to go with surrogacy. And that's how we started our journey.
Okay, great. And now let's talk about your practice.
Sure. So my practice really just evolved from my own experience with surrogacy. We had the guidance through San Diego Fertility Center, to refer us to a mental health provider to talk about what the third-party reproduction surrogacy process was. I didn't know much about why that was, a requirement, just kind of went with the flow because I just kind of wanted to check off everything in the box so that we could get closer to having a family. And so going through that process was very important because we gained a lot of insights, but having us as a gay man, I realized there was a lot of in that interview or that consultation that were missing that I felt could have been really important to help us through our process.
Yes.
Of course, all of the basic things were covered, and I think that and I gained a lot of information. There was again that didn't really pertain to someone who was gay, someone who was building their family. And so because I found there was these elements that were missing that I found out throughout the journey that were challenging, and I wish I would have known that before, maybe someone had brought this up so that I could have it in my awareness. And with Dr. Park from San Diego Fertility Center, she encouraged me to look into this because she said, you're a therapist, you have all of these qualities, you should probably think about offering this to your community. And so I looked into it, and that's how I started. So based on my experience with surrogacy, that's how I started counseling with Joey. I wanted to be able to provide other intended parents with information that was important for their journey. And I help both heterosexual and same-sex couples. But specifically with, gay men, LGBT community, I wanted to share specific things that they should be thinking about that maybe other therapists might not be looking into because it's not something that they've lived themselves personally.
Right. So not only it's the gay, but you have your own personal experience. So that's wonderful. Like you're really becoming, as far from what I understand, you're becoming known as a third-party reproduction guy, like the mental health guy. So talk more about that. So you're not just getting referrals from Dr. Park, you're working with a lot of people. So how do people come to you? When should they come to you during their surrogacy journey?
It is at all stages throughout a journey, and it just really depends. We're very fortunate to work with many wonderful people and organizations, surrogacy agencies, fertility clinics, and sometimes it's just word of mouth, or people who are looking for a third-party reproduction therapist to assist them with their psychoeducational consultations, and they might Google that and they might come across my name. And so that is how I have been fortunate to work with people and to help them along their process.
So if I could add something that I'm very excited about, GWK Academy and our Surrogacy and IVF course is all about preparing people, but we prepare people like, here's the process, here are the steps you have to take, here are the milestones you'll have to get through. And I'm very excited because soon we're going to have a couple of videos there that prepare people for sort of the big mental health issues or the weighty issues that they should contemplate as they start their surrogacy journey. So do you want to talk more about that collaboration?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. I really am, because I do believe that there's a lot of preparation that needs to go into, third-party reproduction or family building processes from third-party reproduction. There's really a lot to think about. It's a lot more than just thinking that we want to have a family. Like it's really calculated because we need to be aware of the decisions that we're making, because the decisions that we're making are not just about us, but there are decisions that are going to impact our children. So we have to take a lot into consideration. And when we're using other people to help us build our family, like our thoughts, our behaviors, how we think about things also has an effect and impact on them. And so we talk about a lot of different things in these consultations that I offer to people. And I'm so happy to bring this to the Gays with Kids Academy to start getting you to think about these things even before you see a mental health provider, so that when you're having a conversation with the mental health provider, you've already done some preparation to think about these things, and maybe you can process other things in that counseling session or a consultation that can be helpful.
And speaking of that, I want to make it clear. Like most, I think every IVF clinic or like somewhere along the lines, you're going to be asked to have consultation with a mental health specialist. Correct?
That is correct. So most organizations, agencies, surrogacy agencies, and fertility clinics who follow the American Society for Reproductive uh, uh, Reproductive Medicine
Yeah.
guidelines, ASRM, will require you to have a meeting with a mental health provider. It's not, in all honesty, it's not just a guideline or a requirement that we follow. It is important for us to engage in one of these consultations and meeting with a mental health provider, because there is really a lot to consider. Even me as a mental health provider, there was not one point where I thought that meeting was like, it was not worth it. I gained a lot of information that I wouldn't have had I not sat down with that person. But again, going through my experience, I learned the aspects of like the gay experience and the things that weren't in that consultation. Again, why I'm doing the things that I do now.
And I can tell you, when we went through our surrogacy journey, our girls are just about 13, so 14 years ago. None of this. It was like we didn't talk to any mental health providers. There were like really very few little services or guidance or tools to support us at all. So that's a big part of the reason we launched GWK Academy. Is we want to be able to support people. We want to help you go through your entire journey. And this Joey, I'm so excited to have you help us with this, because it's like the missing part that we haven't, that we need to have and add. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, if you guys are interested in connecting with Joey, you can go to the Gays with Kids Gay Dad Business Directory and look up Joey's his listing there. We've got a link to it in our bio here, and you could also, of course, reach out directly to him if you'd like as well. But Joey, thanks so much for being a part of the Gay Dad Business Directory. Your services are invaluable, and so we're excited to have you there and to have you get more involved in helping us educate our community.
Yeah, wonderful. I'm happy to be a part of it. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right. Have a great weekend, and everyone watching, thank you so much for staying with us. And I hope you all have good weekends as well.
Take care.
Bye.